Owens found at around age 3, most children use the prepositions under and off, and we know that they have in and on. So to summarize, children begin with locational prepositions, the location, where they are, in, on, under, and off. Then spatial relationships come into play. Behind, in front of, between. Okay, now we have spent some time reviewing some developmental information for adjectives, attributes, adverbs, determiners, and prepositions. Now we're going to discuss complex syntax terminology. There is a lot of syntax terminology, so bear with me. It's a lot of information, but it's so worth it. Just that fresh review. I will be reviewing. It can, again, be a little difficult, but our knowledge of our syntax is our golden key. It will make assessing and treating syntax so much easier and less overwhelming. We know that a strong knowledge base of syntax is crucial for both assessment and intervention. We need syntax knowledge so we can formulate our objectives, our goals, monitor progress. Syntax intervention is not all that overwhelming once we are familiar with the concepts. This is why I'm going to review some key syntax terminology. It's important that children are able to produce clauses for talking, especially for clearly communicating more complex messages. They may be used to get your point across, for example, persuasion and negotiating. And we all know young children can persuade and negotiate. I like why questions to elicit the subordinate conjunction because it has a cause and effect. Make sure the child says out loud because. I also like subordinate conjunctions for clarifying, for a request for clarification. Okay, listen to this script. The child says, I didn't get to finish the book. And the SLP says, you didn't? And then the child says, because my brother wouldn't let me. That is a request for clarification to elicit subordinate conjunctions. So, you were late? Because my mom couldn't find her car keys. You didn't find it because it was in Dad's truck. So use those requests for clarification as a prompt to elicit subordinate conjunctions. You are building off dialogue, either your own dialogue or another person's dialogue. So as a summary, we use subordinate conjunctions from a grammatical standpoint to join clauses, from a lexical standpoint for the meaning, and for a pragmatic standpoint, discourse cohesion across speakers, and even to link our own utterances across conversational turns. Okay, now this is kind of the opposite. Instead of telling the teachers and clinicians to use a diverse range of verbs, okay, now we're going to look at the opposite. Another goal to expand sentence diversity is by having the parent or clinician model diverse sentence combinations with known verbs. So here we're not teaching the verbs, we're changing the subject. One way to teach parents to encourage the child to use known verbs with different subjects is called toy talk. Toy talk, you talk about the toys the child is playing with and you give the object toy a name. So both of these include improving vocabulary. So basically, we're talking about a vocabulary goal here, including both nouns and verbs. And these may facilitate diversity of the children's sentences. Before students wrote, and I think this is important here, the SLPs provided multiple verbal examples of combining sentences using the target conjunction. Then the student was asked to provide verbal combined sentences using one of the targeted conjunctions. Again, I feel like that's really important here because a lot of children get stressed and are nervous about writing. So first of all, have them provide the verbal combined sentences using one of the target conjunctions before they write. And then finally, the students were provided with 2 written sentences and the target construction. And finally, the students were provided with 2 written sentences and the target conjunction and asked them to write the combined sentences. For example, he read the book, he wrote his book report, and used the target conjunction before. So, of course, the correct response would be he read the book before he wrote his book report, which we hope it happened in that particular order. So, basically, researchers have found that sentence combination is an effective way to increase complex syntax in written narratives.